3 at 6 p.m. I call for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Supervisor Aliaga.
Here.
Clerk Newbeck here. Treasurer Brown.
Here.
Trustee Morocco.
Here.
Trustee Nalamothu. Here. And Trustee Ritchie.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Good. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Board and public announcement. Board members or individuals in the audience make a statement containing information about a recent or upcoming event. Anyone from the board? Anyone in the public? Anyone online? Okay. Board and public comments. Board members or individuals in the audience make a statement containing information about a recent or, public comments, Public comments. Anyone the board would like to make any comment? Anyone?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Anyone online? All right. Well, we have the interview, and we have Belinda Bellings. Hi, Belinda. We're gonna start the interview, and we're gonna have some questions, and then before we start with the questions, if you would like to introduce yourself, or say a few things.
I do have something to say.
Sure.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Thank you Supervisor Aliaga and Trustee Board for allowing me this time to come before you and apply for this open seat on your trustee board. I'm married and I'm a grandmother. My husband and I lived in our house for about 10 years. Can I give you my address? I'm sorry, I forgot to do that.
No, it's not.
Is it not necessary?
No.
We are both longtime real estate brokers, and we are members and actively attend Clarkston Community Church. I believe you have my resume already. If not, I've got extra copies, but I hope you've had a chance to review my background. And I would just like to say that I enjoy being involved in the community and attempting to improve it and make a desirable place to live, grow families, and build friendships. Our company, RBI Realty, is an independent real estate brokerage, and we specialize in both residential and commercial real estate. We also do appraisal and inspections for Groundworks, and that's a company that does inspections for lenders and insurance companies. I support well-planned development that includes such things as tree ordinances, landscape buffers, greener open spaces, and creative ideas that enhance the compatibility between residential and commercial real estate. My experience is 13 years at American Airlines. I was a project administrator for setup of construction projects. I routed funding documents, insured contracts, had all the proper signatures, all the way to the completion of construction and the payment of invoices. I was awarded an award for 13 years perfect attendance while I was there. I'm a former zoning board of adjustments member. Previously was coordinator for Wood Creek Community Watch. It's a subdivision for 233 homes. I was instrumental in getting a mineral lease signed for our 233 homes there in Wood Creek. I was an Action North participant, and that is a group of residents that were concerned about quality development. We would meet once a month, talk about future development and how we could be involved. Most recently, I was the vice president of Lake Walden Village HOA here in Clarkston for 7 years. My accomplishments included National Night Out, which is a gathering to promote police and community partnerships. I coordinated the install of 2 street lights through DTE Community Lighting Program. I coordinated extensive underground lighting for our entrance at our subdivision. I was involved in the removal of invasive species at our park and pond and the eventual re-landscaping of that area. I developed an Excel workbook that was linked to our bank statement and our budget, so at any given time we could look at that spreadsheet to see financially where we stood, budget as compared to actual.
Okay.
I'm good at tracking dollars and finding ways to save. Finally, I'm experienced, detail-oriented, and I have a strong work ethic. I'm a team player and a public servant. I'm not looking for a title. I just want to contribute and maximize tax dollars to benefit the majority. I appreciate your consideration today and hope you'll consider me for your position.
Thank you.
And I'll answer any questions you might have.
Sure. We're gonna start with Ron.
Yeah, I guess we developed a set of questions here.
Yeah.
The question I'm asking, wasn't one of the ones I turned in, but I guess it's the one I'm gonna be asking tonight.
I think he can ask his question, right? There's a problem.
I'm asking number one, I thought that's
Number
what we're
one?
doing.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
That's what I mean. I guess, if you could, please state why you want to be a Independence Township trustee, and if you are appointed, what are your intentions on running for office this next year?
Well, I think I would be a good fit for your board because of my experience and background, and maybe I could bring some fresh perspective to your board. I would definitely, if I did get the seat, I would definitely run again next year.
Hi, I have the next question.
Okay.
What personal qualities do you think make a good trustee, and which personal qualities do you feel you would bring to the role?
Well, honesty for sure. I believe my willingness to take initiative and my communication and organizational skills are probably my best strengths, and I would plan to bring those with me to my role.
Hi, Belinda.
Hi.
What do you see are the major challenges facing Independence Township right now, and how, as a member of the Board of Trustees, would you hope to resolve or mitigate those?
Well, I know that the intersection at Dixie and White Lake is a big concern for traffic safety. Honestly, I don't know what has been proposed. I just know that you're in talks with how to handle that. So I would be interested in that. And really, the subdivision that is going in right across from my subdivision, the Pulte Walden Village, I know that's a hot topic for a lot of people, especially the people in my neighborhood. So I would really want to be involved in that if possible.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Belinda.
Hi.
My question is, the township recently pilot a 4-day work week for its employees on it's a trial basis.
Mhm.
Please tell us if you support the 4-day work week and why.
Mhm.
I mean, if you support the 4-day or not, but I would like to know if you support it or not and why.
Okay. I assume your 4-day work week is still 40 hours, 10 hours a day?
10 hours a day, yes.
I loved flexible work schedules while I was at American Airlines. I had, part of the time I had a job share. So my partner and I would start on Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then she would take over Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was an awesome job because it allowed she and I both to take care of our families. We had small children at the time. So I really believe flexible work schedules are the way of the future, especially after COVID. So many people, are looking for that type of scenario.
Hi, Belinda.
How are you?
Thanks for coming. Good.
Thank you.
As a member of the Board of Trustees, what sort of things would you propose to improve the lives of the township residents?
I don't really know how to answer that. I'll just say that I believe that transparency is optimum, whether it's an HOA or a Board of Trustees for the township. I believe in being as transparent as possible and honest, and I just believe I would have a fiduciary right to the residents of the township.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for putting yourself out there.
Thank you.
In the terms of priorities for the township, how important is the natural environment and the preservation of the character of our community to you?
I love the natural environment. I think a lot of people don't understand about the invasives that we have, because I noticed even in Walden Village where they've put the barriers around some of the trees. It's so sad because there's so many invasives, buckthorn and bittersweet, that are killing a lot of the mature trees. So I love trees and I love the natural environment. I just wish that it were more maintained, taken care of. Because, and for instance, right up here at TCF Bank, I mean, I really hate to see an evergreen die or, be taken over by invasives. I've even taken plants by there to give to them at the drive-through and say, those are your trees, they're dying, because they have so much bittersweet growing up inside of them. So I love nature and I love the trees. I just like to see it taken care of.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that conclude the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have to wait, right?
You can check with John.
Yeah,
You want to talk to John Oakey and see if
okay, he's there.
Mr.
He's
Hill is
I think he's
available?
admitting him right now.
You know. Oh, I think he's there. John,
He's letting him.
he's there, okay. Good evening, Mr. Kiddo.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Good. Hi. Thank you. We're gonna start the interview for the position of trustee. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself for 1 minute?
Sure. My name is Pat Kittle. Been around Independence Township now since my parents first moved here in 1999. Then I moved back with my family in 2019. I've been involved in the automotive sector for my entire career. Born and bred Michigan guy, went to Michigan State. And moving back to Independence has really been great so far. So I'm just excited to be a part of this community, and it's pretty exciting to raise a family here so far. So.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kiddo, we're gonna start with the questions. So, Ron?
Well, Mr. Kittle, basically, if you could you please state why you'd like to be a Independence Township trustee? And if you should be appointed, what are your intentions for running for office next year?
Okay. Well, really kind of my personal goals for getting involved with the township really started with my kids, getting involved in more activities with my kids, sports. Been a flag football coach now for the last couple seasons. Just seeing the kids grow in the community, and I want to make sure that as they grow up, that I can kind of be a voice for them and, a voice for other parents, similar age group, to keep the community growing and thriving. This community has been, great to my family, great to my brothers growing up, and I just want to be a part of that. I want to give some of my own personal time back to help the community, grow the community, and make sure the community continues to thrive. And as far as this follow-up question, running next year, I want this to be a long-term deal. I don't want to be an in and out type of guy. I want to be involved for the long haul for as long as I'm here, and it's looking like it's going to be for quite a long time at this point.
Terry?
Next question. What personal qualities do you think make a good trustee, and which personal qualities do you feel you would bring to the role?
Well, I think probably one of the qualities that I think is probably most important to the position is not only being able to speak to people, but being able to listen to people. Listen to them with kind of an open-minded ear. People have different concerns. People have different issues that they're dealing with in their personal life. And people just need to have their voices heard. So I think, probably my professional career working in the retail sector, I've been working around people for as long as I've been working. Whether it's salespeople, technicians, the general public, these car dealerships, there are concerns that come up all the time, and you kind of have to be, you can't go in with a loaded gun. Sometimes people have something that they need to say, and you need to be that ear to listen to them to comfort them and, come up with a resolution that works.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kiddo, what do you see are the major challenges facing Independence Township right now? And how, as a member of the Board of Trustees, would you hope to resolve or mitigate them?
Well, I think some of the biggest challenges for the township are probably some of the challenges that are going to be on the horizon, including maintaining a balanced budget. The world has really kind of thrown us some curveballs here lately with inflation rates. Salaries are always on the rise. There's always different things that can cost more money. I know, with the township, the potential of losing some of those franchise fees, how does that change the outlook of the financial statement for the township? And, also the other question for Independence is, it's getting close to being built out. So once it is built out, how do we make sure that we have appropriate revenues coming in to make sure that, we can maintain, one of the best police, fire, park systems? I mean, I think we have a great place now, but if we can't stay fiscally responsible, we're going to have some serious problems going into the future.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Kiddo, I have the next question. The township recently piloted a 4-day work week to its employees on a trial basis. Please tell us if you support the 4-day work week and why.
Well, I'm a big believer in that if the job can be effectively done in the amount of time allotted, I think it would be okay. If the 4-day work week doesn't allow the township work to get done, I guess in that case, I would probably be opposed to it. But as long as we can keep all the wheels in motion, all the programs working, the general public, has adequate ability to adequately communicate with the township. It's not so much the hours that you're there. I think it's what you're doing with those hours.
Okay. All right, but do you support it or no? Yes or no? I just wonder.
I guess at this point, I can't make an educated decision to support that yes or no without really knowing all of the inner workings of the township.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Kittle, thanks for applying. As a member of the Board of Trustees, what sort of things would you propose to improve the lives of the township residents?
Well, I think that goes along the lines of what I mentioned earlier, with the fiscal responsibility. Making sure that we're spending responsibly and, making sure that, we have enough money to proceed and grow going into the future. I would propose, as far as, kind of a slush fund for the township, have kind of two separate type rainy day funds, one for emergencies and two for future capital improvements. And if the money's not there, I don't think we can spend it.
Thank you.
Hey, Pat, welcome. Thanks for offering to serve. My question to you is, in terms of priorities for the township, how important is the natural environment and the preservation of the character of our community to you?
I believe that is kind of what makes our community unique. We're different than some of the big box communities out there in that we have some beautiful parks, some beautiful green spaces, many of which have really got the, what would be the right word? The luxury of being able to enjoy now that I have the school-age children. We've been taking advantage of, quite a few of them. But it's part of the character of the community. So I think the green spaces, the parks, I think we have to protect those. What's built, what goes in. I mean, I think everything has to kind of follow the master plan for the township. And, there was a master plan set out years and years ago, and I think it is imperative that we follow that. Obviously there's things that change over time, but I think we have to stick true to the roots of what the community is.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's- Thank you, Mr. Kilo. All right, that complete the interview.
Pardon, I didn't hear that last thing. I
That-
apologize.
No, don't worry. That complete your interview. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for allowing me to speak and allowing me to do this kind of non-conventionally. I apologize that I couldn't be there in person.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks. We have more. So, I think we have it already.
I'm sorry? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Mark Pedersen. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hi, Mark. Thank you and welcome to the township.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Mark, can you tell us, give us an introduction, if you can tell a little bit about yourself for 1 minute?
I'll keep it short.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Pedersen. I'm born and raised right here. Halloween night, 1963, Hunger on Almond Lane. Took a lot of heart, a lot of determination throughout my family to keep the home. It shows our true dedication to our community and my dedication to keep that still going. That said, I graduated from Clarkson High School, United States Marine, Naval Magazine, Lululemon, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, Guard Company, Westlock. From there, I came home, and I had been with an asphalt company for 38 years and 8 months, and I retired. Had enough. But after 3 days of retirement, I decided I got to go back to work. So now I'm the project manager for Cranbrook. So I get to oversee all of their projects over there, from building to asphalt to paving, whatever they have going on there. I'm taking care of Cranbrook schools. I was a former trustee for Independence Township. I think a lot of you already know that. I've already been through the ropes, the endless budget meetings. I think that understanding, simple acronyms like, TIF, OPEB, and CIA, DDA. I mean, we could go on and on. But I think trustees really need to know what those all mean and what it gives to our community, the depth and the relationship to our community that each and every one of those little acronyms have. Because they all are very deep. Like OPEB, for instance, there's a lot of discussion there, endless and tireless. Since then, I've been here and not gone anywhere else.
Okay, thanks, Mark. We're going to start with questions. Each trustee will address one question for you. So we're going to start with trustee Ron Ritchie.
Okay.
Are you
Hi, Mr.
Pedersen?
Ritchie.
How you doing? Can you please state why you'd like to be an Independence Township trustee, and if you should be appointed, what's your intentions for running next year?
Why do I want to be a trustee?
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've always given back to my community. I know the job of a trustee. I know where the trustee's place is, providing oversight, helping to provide oversight, along with the 3 full-time electeds, and offering assistance when asked and requested. Forever and ever, when I was the president of the Clarkston Chiefs, I really gave it out to the community, and I think that right there is a lot of proof that I love giving back to my community. And given the unforeseen, unworldly situation in my past year, I found a new time. And if I'm voted in other words, if you think that I'm going to run next year, yes, I will. I'd love to. It's about giving back to our community.
Terry?
Hi.
Hi.
What personal qualities do you think make a good trustee, and which personal qualities do you feel you would bring to the role?
A personal quality that I think would be great for a trustee is problem solving. Firstly, I think a trustee needs to know the situation. What's wrong out there? Is there something wrong with our roads, or something wrong in Parks and Rec, or on top of the library? And then you have your mission. You have to get together with other board members and figure out what your mission is going to be. And then how are you going to execute that mission? Who's involved in it? Is the DPW involved with this? Is the building department? Is the supervisor, the treasurer, the clerk? Are they also involved in this? Administration and logistics of it. How to put it all together. Getting everything in the right order. That's giving it a lot of deep thought with that. Command. Well, that's a very, very important word. And that command is right there. You guys, the board, they're the boss. They're the ones that are going to tell you what's going to happen. They have the purview, and I think that problem solving is very, very important. Problem solving with residents, just as important. Trying to keep things calm and professional is very, very, very important to me. And this is not when we were 35 and on the township board. This is when you're 60 and on the township board. And a lot of things come to light throughout that many years. I hope I answered it correctly.
Mark, what do you see are the major challenges facing Independence Township right now? And as a member of the Board of Trustees, how would you resolve them or mitigate them?
The major challenge as far as hot topics, as far as funding, budgets, there's going to be a lot of problems here. Let's just say we have a problem with our Headley Amendment. We lose money in our millages, but how do we get a millage that makes up for the loss in the Headley amendments? It's a long, drawn-out discussion with that, but that's very important to protecting our assets. And what was the rest of your question? Excuse me, Carrie?
That's okay. So how would you hope to resolve or mitigate those issues?
Well,
that you think
obviously,
we're
everything
facing?
comes straight from the board. Communication with the board and discussions with the board before it is brought here to the television is a major help. It keeps the animosity down, and it helps the township board members be even more professional than they are. And I just think that's a good hand-in-hand working technique.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, next, Mark. The township recently piloted a 4-day work week to its employees on a trial basis. Please tell us if you support the 4-day work week and why.
Yes, I support a 4-day work week.
Okay.
Why?
Mhm.
When I was a trustee prior, dare I admit it, I was more of an employee trustee. I cared about our employees, and I still do. Our employees are what make this township work, along with, obviously, direction from the board. Their reputation precedes them. When I go and I go to a lot of communities, I meet a lot of people, and they talk about our Parks and Rec. They talk about our community, and it's all in a positive way. With that said, I think, what would I do? Can you repeat that, the last part of that?
Why? Why you support the 4-day work week? You
Why?
already says you
It's
do.
because it helps our employees.
Mhm.
Look, COVID really messed a lot of things up.
Yeah.
And I think if we can give men or women an opportunity to babysit, they got kids, Miss Rachel before, she was raising kids and COVID and all this other stuff. the time restraints. I don't want to lose employees because, you know, they have to take care of their kids. And that makes them feel guilty, and that's not right. You know?
Thank you.
Okay.
Paul?
Hi, Mark.
Good evening, Mr. Brown.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
As a member of the Board of Trustees, what sort of things would you propose to improve the lives of the township residents?
Proposed to improve the lives of the township residents. Well, improving their lives first start by hearing their concerns, letting them maybe put a thing online, a survey monkey, and let them say what they've got to say, and then we can go back in and discuss it as a board. I mean, because everything that I would want to do, nothing would get done without the approval of the board. So, you know, we would have to all get along on that. As far as what would I do, there's a lot of things we could do. As far as making the residents a little bit happier with development and how we develop things and the requirements that we have. Independence Township's always been very good at that, with our developers. They always have in regards to our planning commission, our zoning board of appeals. They're all excellent people. What would I do to, I'd love to lower their taxes. I'd love to give them a break at something. You know, I guess the best way to lower your taxes is to stop asking for things. And, you know, that usually ends up on the better.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mark, thanks
Good evening, Sam.
Thanks for offering to serve, buddy.
Thank you.
So in terms of the priorities for the township, how important is the natural environment and the preservation of the character of our community to you?
I'm huge on it. Preservation is big. I grew up right down here. I remember when Sashbaugh Road was just a little two-laner, you know, and this community has grown up so much, even since 2012. It's skyrocketed. Look, people, residents and developers, they have property rights. They have the right to do what they have, and as long as it's within the confines of the township. I would like to see less trees cut. I'd like to see better green belts. I'd like to see more shared approaches to like fix Dixie Highway a little bit better and make it more accessible. Because right now it's pretty jammed up, it's crammed. And I remember everything we did over there, you and I, with the Dixie, Sam. And I remember everything we talked about with that. In fact, I still have the notes from that. So there's a lot of things there that we could do to help improve it. But as far as I'm going to stand behind my own personal belief about not cutting everything down, not and leaving it bare for 8 weeks, a year, or more. You know, I want it pleasing to my eye when I come home. I don't want to feel like that I'm going to be stressed out here in another year with 1,000 cars, and I got to wait in the traffic to get home.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
That concludes the interview. So
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Two.
Okay. Next. Good evening, Bruce.
Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for coming. And first of all, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, a little introduction for 1 minute.
Okay.
Well, my name is Bruce Quigley. I'm a lifelong resident here. I left for a little while, but was born and raised here. In fact, I've second generation of 4 generations is still living here. Actually, on both sides, my in-laws too. But anyway, I work in the construction field. I'm supervisor. I had my own company for a number of years. The recession back there in '08 took a hit for me. But anyway, things are well now. I still have my own business going on. I don't do as much as I used to, just stuff to fill in the blanks. But anyway, I trying to get more involved in our township. You know, in the past, I've been caught up with work and other things. I did run, like I had said on my application, to get on the ballot in 2012. In fact, I met a few of you there, but I didn't pursue it too heavy. But as I get older, the more I see where it's almost a calling for me to do something. This is where I plan to live out my life. My kids, my grandkids, they're all here. They go to school. You know, I want to do whatever I can to keep our community the nice place that it is. So I don't have a whole bunch of words of wisdom, and I don't want to try not to dazzle you with anything, but this is me. You know, I'm a carpenter, builder, and supervisor, and I want to help.
Thank you. We're gonna start with questions. Each
Sure.
board member will ask a question, one question per member. So we're
Okay.
gonna start with trustee Ron Ritchie.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks for having me.
If you could you please state why you'd like to be a Independence Township trustee? And if you should be appointed, what's your intentions for running for office this coming year?
Well, as I stated before, I want to help with a number of things as a trustee. I know as a trustee, I can't, I'll say powers are limited. I know I have a vote, and I understand that I can't come in and just demand things. But as a whole, I think I would be able to work with everybody else and find the common goals of the people of the community, of our township. Whether it be you know, safety, whether it be development, whether it be anything. You know, as far as running in the next election, yeah, I think I'm ready. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Gary?
Hi. What personal qualities do you think make a good trustee? And which personal qualities do you think you could bring to the role?
Well, I think the personal qualities that I would think would be the best as a trustee is being able to communicate for the community the best I can. I think that I try to think of myself as a likable person. Some of my guys might not think so, but I've been known to be able to sometimes be too honest, but I like to have the facts in order before I make decisions. And there's a lot of people that act on emotion, which isn't bad, but being in the position I'm in and having my own company, I've been able to establish business versus personal feelings. And it is a business that we have here, but it affects everybody's life. So that, I guess, is what I would say I would bring to the table as a trustee.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
What do
you.
you see are the major challenges facing Independence Township right now? And as a member of the Board of Trustees, how would you envision to resolve them or mitigate them?
Well, again, I think we all have to work together for the common good. I don't really care for people that are just closed-minded and have to be this way, have to be this way. I don't affiliate myself with any specific political party. I might lean one way or the other, but everybody has an opinion, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, you know, and in this type of position, we have to, again, work as a group to better the community and what people might want. I don't know if I answered your question or not, I'm sorry.
You want me to repeat it?
Well,
Just what do you think are some of our hot topics? What are some of our big
okay.
issues right now?
okay,
And how would you suggest that we resolve them, or how would we handle them?
I would say a lot. I mean, as I was driving last night, I noticed safety is always an issue, no matter where you're at. I noticed that there's issues with driving where there's some streetlights are good, some streetlights are bad, some are LEDs, some are, you know, high pressure sodium, you know, whatever the case may be. There's intersections that are bad. Like, I mean, everybody knows about Way Lake Road. I mean, it seems like there's an accident there numerous times a day. There's things that we can work together with the county, with the state, whatever the case may be, to try and improve those situations. I don't know if you're coming off of Dixie onto Maybe, there's that bike path that goes through there. I think it goes to the retirement community there. But the lighting is spectacular through that trail. You know, it's all nice LED lights. When you go down some of our streets, mine included, it's the old yellow, dingy light that you really can't see very well, you know. Not only is it cost effective to put better lighting, it's also safer because you can see better, you know. But I think as a whole, being able to reach out from just us to other parts of like the county, to get involved with those, maybe whether it be grants, whether it be whatever, but I'd say safety is probably the biggest concern that I have, you know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Next, the township recently piloted a 4-day work week to its employees on a trial basis. Please tell us if you support the 4-day work week and why.
I absolutely support that. I know it's inconvenient sometimes for people that can't get here, but I myself support that at my job. Whenever I can, I put the guys on a 4-day work week. That extra day on Friday, or if it's on Monday, whichever, I know myself helps me clear my head. You get to spend more time with your family. Now, those that work a 9 to 5 can actually get to the township to handle business if we're open till 5:30. It adds that extra time. I think it should be the law. I don't know who started the 40-hour, 8-hour days, you know, 5 days a week, but yeah,
Sure.
I definitely support it.
Thank you. Paul?
Bruce, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
As a member of the Board of Trustees, what sort of things would you propose to improve the lives of the township residents?
Well, I think, again, going back to safety, I would definitely propose, with help of others, ways that we can improve on that. There's other things with the community, such as, you know, as my father and my in-laws, you know, they're getting older, and I can't always be there to take them places. Fortunately, they're still able to get around, but there may come a time where there's not. I do support the senior centers and the transportation that's involved there. I think that sometimes I'll say seniors sometimes get left behind, and I know just from my personal experience the difference of my my own father after my mother passed, is the loneliness that they encounter, and I think that's extremely important, and we owe it to them. You know, that's one thing. You know, as far as, you know, everybody talks about transparency, but I think as board members, I think it would be important, I know some of you already do this, have like, set aside an hour to meet with the people and figure out what they want, to listen to what they want, because again, it's really not our personal feelings, it's about what the people want. They're the ones that elect the board. They would be the one, if I got elected, they would elect me. So we work for them, and I think it's very important that we listen to what the people say, whether it be for just about everything, you know, development, the safety, the bike paths, the everything. So, again, you know, I think that would, a small step in the right direction, and I'd be honored to be part of it.
Thank you.
Thanks for volunteering, Bruce, to serve.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Excuse me. In terms of priorities for the township, how important is the natural environment and the preservation of the character of our community to you?
Well, the preservation, I have 2 acres, and I have trees all around me, and I love it. I grew up here, like I said, and I've seen a whole lot of changes. Most of the roads were dirt when I was a kid. I'm not ignorant to the fact that things change. And I know that there has to be development, there has to be improvements as things grow, you know, as the community grows. I think that keeping the natural as much as we can is great. I just seen, you know, the property purchased. I think that's fantastic, you know, and I think that our township has a lot to offer because of that, and because of our, you know, like Independence Oaks, because of, you know, all the, I think that we need to keep some of it, but we also have to do, we have to grow, but we have to grow controlled. So, you know, I am an avid outdoor person. You wouldn't know it by my stomach these days, but I am active outside, and I do want to keep some of that, because if we pave everything, then we've got nothing for the next generation, the generation after that. So I think that gives us an upper hand over different communities.
Thank you.
That concludes the interview.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Jim. Before we start with the questions, we would like to know for 1 minute if you can tell us about yourself, a little introduction.
I'd be happy to. Jim Tedder, I've been a resident of Independence Township proper just shy of 18 years, but I've been what I consider myself a kid of Independence, Clarkston area since about the age of 5, Clarkston High School graduate, proud father of 2 Clarkston graduates, and one yet to graduate. She's a high school junior, married to my wife Nancy. I've had a real passion for service throughout much of my life, going back to being actively involved in my own children's lives, from being a cub master to a wrestling coach, and of course public service. I had the privilege of serving this very township in the State House for 4 years, and a short tenure on the township board, which I of course unfortunately had to resign due to accepting a full-time work opportunity. That obligation and that conflict of interest has since gone away as I'm in a different function. So I'm here tonight and looking forward to participating in the interview process. And again, I'm just excited to express my passion and desire to serve on this board once again.
Thank you, Jim. We're gonna start with the questions. From each board member, we have one question. Okay? We're gonna start with Trustee Ron Ritchie.
Mr. Tedder, you've already mentioned a few things out of this question, but I'll read it anyway. I guess, please state why you'd like to be an Independence Township trustee, and if you should be appointed, what are your intentions for running for office next year?
Absolutely. Some of the reasons for running, again, first and foremost, I have a passion for service that extends both at the community level and, of course, in the limited capacity I've been able to serve in a governmental capacity. And so that has always been deeply embedded in me, whether it's, if you ask my wife, my mother, my family members, my own children, that it's very important to me. So I believe, and it's not my own quote, but the world is run by those that show up, and I'm very participatory, whether it's behind the scenes or in a service capacity. And as such, I want to continue to be a good steward of taxpayer money here at the township level. I think as a perennial matter, township funding always remains an issue. I love the unique and rural character of this community, but at the same time understand development must take place, and I feel like I have a rational and balanced approach to that. And as a son-in-law and a son of aging parents, this is a township that, like many in the state, with aging communities, people are living longer, and I feel that I also would serve as a very strong voice for our seniors.
I guess, you didn't really answer.
Oh, I'm sorry,
intention
yes.
to run?
Yeah, the intention to run, I apologize for that. Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't say this vacancy, of course, came about the untimely resignation of former trustee Stoyan. I wish him well and pray that he beats this terrible disease, and hope that he will approach public service again when the time is right. But that being said, before this came about, I had already had private conversations with my wife about running in the August primary. So whether I'm afforded the opportunity to start serving on this township board now, or giving it the old-fashioned, door-to-door effort and earning the people's vote that way, either way, I plan on doing so in August.
Okay, my turn. What personal qualities do you think make a good trustee, and which personal qualities do you feel you would bring to the role?
I would say, and when I answer that, I guess I'll speak in the qualities I see within myself, but at the same time, I think will be ideal qualities for a trustee. I think first and foremost, you are a representative of the 37,000 people or so that live in Independence Township, and therefore, you are committed, as I would be, to being an open ear to the residents of the township. I think good leadership begins there as an acknowledgement that you work for 37,000 people. And so that being said, along with that comes access, comes transparency, and a willingness to listen, even if someone's ideas are different than your own. I believe a strong trustee should be collaborative, not combative. And again, you can disagree without being disagreeable. And in doing so, you may be able to open up your own perspective, or perhaps convince someone else otherwise. So those are a couple qualities that I think are important to the role. Again, being accessible, being transparent, being a good listener, among others.
Thank you.
Good evening. What do you see are the major challenges facing Independence Township right now? And as a member of the Board of Trustees, how would you hope to resolve or mitigate them, should you be appointed?
Thank you. Really important question. There are a number of issues facing this township. I do tune in through YouTube, frequently to keep tabs on township business. I know the potential of us losing PEG fees is a real issue. Something that's going to be, we're going to have advocates at the state level. I was very pleased to see the township select Midwest Strategy Group. Mike Compagnoni and his team, they're phenomenal. I've known him a very long time. They're a respected organization. We're going to need their advocacy on that very issue. Township funding remains a perennial issue. Michigan Townships Association is always a steadfast advocate on ensuring that we not only maintain, but we get back some of the funding that we've lost through various mechanisms throughout time. I think another real profound issue that was brought up recently as well was the regional transit issue. The township is, and I don't think in the short run anyway, there's anything the township board can do about the 1.8 million that have been committed to the regional transit. But the thing that troubles me the most is not the tax burden, because I think this township is, as a whole, is willing to invest money where they think services will be rendered. Mr. Bob White just gave a very eloquent speech. I've gotten to know him over the years. He has 2 adult sons on the autism spectrum, and it's a real troubling issue to contemplate when your adult son can't make it to a job that he takes great pride in. That also extends to our senior community, as I mentioned. Seniors continue to age in place and continue to live independently, but at the same time, this township has done a really good job in the past with regional transit as we've seen it ourselves. And so that's another issue that I would fight for, is that we get money, or we get services commensurate with the money that we're contributing. And that's going to be a real fight. I'm really reluctant to think that. I think there's been a lot of robust discussions about development in this community. I am pro-development, but I'm also embrace the considerations to maintain the rural characteristics of this township. I know much of that is accomplished in a robust master plan, but at the same time, I think this board can have some great conversations on that topic. And those are some of the biggest issues I believe that are facing our township right now.
Thank you.
Jim, I have the next question. The township recently piloted a 4-day work week to our employees. This is just a trial basis, but please tell us if you support the 4-day work week and why.
Yeah, I found it really intriguing when I first saw that. I'll be honest, I had mixed emotions about it, but at the same time, having put myself in the shoes of this board, I would at the very least be willing to give it a try. I will tell you, and all of you know, that many townships around us, many municipalities around us, county governments, et cetera, are trying to find ways to create a work schedule that allows people to have work-life balance. And I would be a hypocrite if I wasn't open to these types of ideas. And I say that because my employer, ITC Holdings, has pivoted to a hybrid work schedule in which employees report Tuesday through Thursday, Monday, Friday work from home. It's been extremely successful. We've been as productive as ever. And so I think if employees are truly committed and being partners with the township board, I think there's a real opportunity to continue that in the future, so long as everyone does their part to serve the residents of this township.
Okay. But do you support it?
Yes, I am supportive of it. And I know I think it's still under a trial period, if I believe. So again, I'm supportive of that trial period, and if the board, majority of the board feels that it's working out, I would support extending it.
Thank you, Jim. Paul?
Jim, as a member of the Board of Trustees, what sort of things would you propose to improve the lives of the township residents?
Yeah, I'm going to lead again with the senior issue. And Paul, I know you've been through a lot with your mother and her recent passing and taking care of her. I feel like I have a streetwise PhD in senior issues, and I say that because my in-laws now live here in Monarch Grove, here in Independence Township. We moved them from another facility just down in Orion Township, and I did not realize, despite the heavy cost associated with those types of facilities, the advocacy that we need to involve ourselves in just about every issue. And again, as we mature as a community, and I'm optimistic that we'll continue to attract young families, but there's no question we're an aging community, that we need to find ways to continue to support our senior community to age in place. So I believe I could do that. Contribute right away in that capacity. As my former state legislature, I'm on a first name basis with many people that are tied to a lot of the issues I presented earlier. Again, I have a great rapport with Nicole Nystrom, Mike Crombine, and many others at Midwest Strategy Group, Mike Compagnoni. So I can augment and support the efforts of this board in helping to define what our priorities are, because as the saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. And I feel like I would be able to help leverage the strengths of this board to best utilize that $4,000 a month commitment that we're making to Midwest Strategy Group, because it is an investment. It's a cost, but more importantly, it's an investment to help draw down dollars that are going to help our community. So that's another area. I do have a passion and an interest in, again, striking a balance between the development side and maintaining rural characteristics. I work for a company that, of course, builds and maintains high voltage electric lines, and we're not always, especially in the rural areas, not always held in high favor. But I think we've been able to successfully strike a balance in working with communities, and likewise, I think we can work with our residents to continue to develop responsibly, but at the same time maintaining a rural character.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you offering to serve. This is in the same line as questions. In terms of priorities for the township, how important is the natural environment and the preservation of the character of our community to you?
Yeah, I've spoken to that a few times. I brought that up, and I do think there is a win-win where you can draw and attract the right types of development, but at the same time preserve the rural character. I'm fortunate. I live in the northeast part of the township, which, you know, just get a little bit off of the Sashabaw corridor, and I feel like I'm up north. I'm very blessed, and I feel those that want that environment should be able to enjoy that. There are others that like the conveniences of being walking distance to a Kroger or to the ice cream store. So everyone has different needs, but I think universally that we can accomplish both. And I'm a very willing participant in having these conversations. I know that there was an effort recently to place a 90-day moratorium on the removal of trees, and I know many people showed up for that meeting and were very passionate about that very topic. I've worked in my former role in community affairs at ITC with townships that have tree ordinances. So done right, I think they can work, right? And so, again, I'm fully in support of maintaining rural characteristics. As my early years, I grew up in Springfield Township, and so speaking of rural, I grew up on 10 acres. We had a few pigs and a cow and a Shetland pony and so forth. So nature and preservation are important part of my being, but at the same time, again, I think there is a need for some development, and we can all work together to achieve the means to do both.
I think that's the last question. Yes. Thank you, Jim. That
Thank you.
concludes the interview.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate the opportunity. It's good to see everybody,
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
and good luck with the rest of the process. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, the next candidate is not here, and we've not received a response from that person. Might be a good time to take a few-minute break if you'd
Yeah,
like.
so we
and,
can, yeah. And what about Stuart?
The last candidate said that he could not make it this evening, so.
Okay. All right. So the the last two candidates, Terry Wigney, he didn't respond to our emails or to our communications for today's meeting, and the next candidate won't be able to attend tonight. So
Correct.
we're gonna take I wanna 5 minutes
Whatever you want.
recess.
Okay.
10 minute recess. Let's get 10 minutes so we can have time to look into this. Yeah.
5 minutes probably.
5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
5
We'll do
minutes.
public comment then after that.
Yeah. Well, we need the time to read our notes, right? I just asking for 5 minutes recess. Okay, all right.
So we'll return at 7:11?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. All right. All right, okay? All right.
You're good Slurpee.
Yeah.
I know you just.
Well, we're coming back.
I'd like to make a motion to resume the special meeting at 7:12.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are back now. Good. Well, it was a great interview, actually. I think everybody did fantastic. Now I will open for the public. Everyone that would like to address to the board have 3 minutes. If everyone would like to come up front to the podium, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes if you would like to say, if you have a comment or anything regarding the process or any support for a candidate or, okay? Excuse me. Yes, state your name and address, please.
My name is Steve Badalamenti. The address is 6021 Cedar Bend Drive. I'm here in support of Belinda Billings. She is one of my neighbors, and I can't tell you how much of a great project manager and planner she is. She has been on our HOA board for about 7 years, until just recently, a year or two. She's been off the board, but she was on it for 7 years, and it was the best 7 years in our subdivision that we ever had. I think it was the most beneficial. She's just a real, go-getter, and she gets things done. She starts things and she finishes things. She brought into our subdivision, I think she mentioned the National Night Out, which you may have heard of, but it's a wonderful get-together. It's kind of like a community block party, but it's for, the residents and first responders to get together and meet everybody and, have that community interaction. So she's wonderful for that, and I just, I'm here to support her, and, I would recommend her for your open seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to address to the board? Please, state your name and address, please.
I'd like to introduce myself to the board and explain why I find Belinda Billings to be an excellent addition to your Independence Township Board of Trustees. We purchased our home in 5977 Forest Grove Court in 2018, shortly after we retired. And prior to our retirement, we were active in land development and single-family apartment and commercial development in North Dakota. And we also developed and operated 10 hotels in Illinois. And during this time, we had the opportunity to offer employment to several individuals. And those employees that were honest and able to follow a budget, those who were dependable and responsible in completing the task that was given them, and those who worked well with others and that had strong family values, always made our job so much easier and rewarding. And Belinda Billings has all these qualities that I mentioned. Belinda's been has an extensive background in real estate, and during the years that my wife and I have had the pleasure of knowing her, she is shown to have strong family values. She's a team player, knows how to budget, and is the type of person that stays on task until a project is completed. She loves Clarkston and has been involved in making several improvements that have been mentioned already in our subdivision. She has excellent people skills and can tolerate those people that sometimes are hard to appreciate and understand. We would gladly have hired her into our company. So I would like to say that some people I've noticed in my business are complainers and some are doers. Mrs. Billings is a doer, and I'm sure you'd be very happy to have her as a board member. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have your
Can you
name,
say
sir?
your name?
What is your name?
Daryl Anderson.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else would like to come to the podium and, sure, Tina.
Tina Holland. Belinda and Jim Tedder are both. They're both hard worker. When I was the president of our subdivision at Lake Walden Village, I had to quit unexpectedly, and she came in as a VP, did an excellent job. I highly recommend her. I highly recommend it as well Jim. And they're both hard workers and understanding, listens to the people, and I'll tell you, they're honest, they'll get the work done, and I'm proud to know both of them. And I know that they will get along with all of you and will do a good thing. That's all I've got to say. I highly recommend both of them. So,
Can I have your
Thank you.
address, please?
pardon me?
Your address, please?
6292 Lake Walden Drive, Clarkston, Michigan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Tina.
Of course, I'm in Michigan.
Yes. Thank you. Please, state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Nancy Badalamenti, 6021 Cedar Bend Drive. I am here to support Belinda Billings. She is a people person. She works extremely well with people. She's extremely dedicated to her community, parks, and green spaces. She's very passionate about saving them and not having the invasives take over. She's had to learn a lot. And while she was on our HOA board, for the 7 years that she was on it, we've lived here over 20 years. I have never seen it ran so smooth. If you had a question or a problem, it was addressed. It was taken care of immediately. She is a real go-getter, and I think she'd be really good for the position. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Please, yes. State your name and address.
It's Brian Parkinson, 8260 Brookstone Lane.
Mhm.
I'm here to endorse Mark Patterson. He's been a lifelong friend for the last 20 years. One thing I can say about Mark, after many discussions of Sunday Fun Day, just knowing the person, his township is always the first of his thoughts. He's not here to try to get another position. He's unselfish, and he bleeds blue and yellow, or the colors of the school. Everything is always on his mind is the township first. So whatever he does with interacting people, I think his top of thought will always be the best interests of the township, not for himself or how he'll look. It's how the township will look. So I just want to say that.
Thank you. Thanks. Oh, sure. Please state your name and address.
Hi. Hi, my name is Andrew Pedersen. I am the son of Mark. I live at 6716 Almond Lane. I am going to be 22 in January, and with my 21 years of life, I've never seen someone wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, regardless of what one needs to do. My dad is the hardest working person that I know, and I don't really find it to be a competition between many people. Again, as Brian also said, he is all he talks about is this township. He was on my dad was also on the safety path committee. He's just a very dedicated person. He worked at the same place for 37, 38 years, and every day, 4 a.m., was there by 5, working until 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I just really, really commend him for what he does on a daily basis. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, state your name and address.
My name is Rich Billings. I live at 6025 Cedar Bend, and I'm the husband of Belinda. And I'm quite sure that it might appear a little self-serving for a husband to get up and tout his wife and support his wife, but quite frankly, I have no clue why my wife wants to do this or interview for this. 'Cause I really don't. I don't know why she wanted to interview and be part of the HOA either. But if any of you remember several years ago, driving down Lake Walden or Cedar Bend Drive, and look at the pond on the left side or the park on the right side, and see the difference now, you can see why she wants to run. She accomplishes things, she gets things done. And I can assure you that my 45-plus years living with her, if she were to be selected for this position, you will not get anyone that will give you a more dedicated work ethic. And if you need a problem solved or you need something done, she just steps forward and does it. She is just wired that way. So if that's what she wants, I am in full support of her, and she'll be a great candidate for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Please state your name and address.
My name is Beverly Martindale. I live at 6460 Heron Park Way. I've been a resident of Clarkston for 20 years. Belinda was my real estate agent, and she is my friend. And she helped me through a very difficult time about 7 years ago. My husband had Alzheimer's, and so when I was looking to find a condo or something smaller, she helped me tremendously. Over about 10 months, we were able to find a home just 2 blocks from the house we were living in. So that was very convenient. And then at the end, when my house was sold, because we renovated a condo, stayed in our home, and then we moved into the condo, put the house up for sale, and it wasn't sold until October of 2017. The whole thing had to be taken care of very quickly because my husband was in the process of passing, and I was his representative. So she made everything happen, and it was a breeze. I mean, it all went very smoothly, and she's just been a tremendous support to me, and I think she would be a tremendous support to the township. She gets things done, and she's a good representative for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Please state your name and address.
Brady Dillon, 9254 Pine Knob Road, Clarkston, Michigan. I'm not really saying that I support A or Z or any letter, anyone. I just ask that whomever you pick, as a trustee, they don't have a full-time job here at the Township Hall, but they do need to have a contact information so that all of us sitting here can contact them via email, telephone, and relay our questions to them, our concerns. Because to me, they're not, they're not in your 3 positions, but they are representing us. And we need to be able to have easy access to them and good communication with them. So that's all I would ask as you're reviewing the candidates. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Can I respond to her comment?
Okay.
To just
sure.
for the public, to let everybody know that all of us have an email and our phone numbers are on the website. So we can all be contacted.
Okay, but I just want to say this in response to what Terry's saying. At one point, my husband attempted to reach a trustee per the phone number that was on the website, and it was not a working number.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So we need to update those. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Terry.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else that would like to address to the board? Okay. Please state your name and address.
My name is Monica Gilbert, 6456 Heron Parkway. I'm here to support Belinda. I'm not going to go through everything. Everything that everyone's been saying about her is true, and I think she'd be wonderful on the board with you guys, and that's what I'd just like to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Anyone online that would like to address to the board? State your name and address. Okay. I guess. Sure. John, is the audio? Yes? I can hear you. I can, hold 1 second, Cheryl. Is John, you can fix the audio?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now, yes.
Okay. You mentioned one applicant, Terry Whitney. You said that he was never answered. You contacted him and he didn't answer? That you emailed him, called him, and he never responded?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so if we pull a FIOA, you can prove that Terry never responded and you did contact him?
That's, I mean,
Yeah,
the
there
clerk
was
office.
emails.
Yeah.
I can't prove a phone call and a voicemail message left, but yes.
Okay, well, yeah, the email would be great. That would be fine because we're getting conflicting information here that he wasn't called and he didn't answer his email and he said he never got either one. So as a resident, I had to question that. I did notice that none of the applicants mentioned maybe regaining the residents' trust. It's all about the fiscal responsibility, and I didn't hear many of the applicants speak about the residents themselves.
Okay.
I'm not endorsing anybody at this point. I have a really hard time, the residents have a really hard time with Mr. Kittle. He's just an automotive guy, answered the questions all the same. It's all about fiscal responsibility. And we don't believe that he should just be riding on his daddy's coattails into the Board of Trustees. And so I just wanted to let you know how the residents feel about this, and we would like Terry Whitney to be interviewed before you make your decision.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Cheryl. You have her address, right?
I'm sorry?
You have Cheryl address?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Thank you. I believe your office contact Mr. Whitney.
Yeah, we have a contact number. I mean, we can try, I mean, we're gonna be here later this evening. If he's able to come, we still have more business after this evening. But
Okay.
yes, I think there were several emails and one phone call left with a voicemail. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think everybody were contacted because we have people
Yeah,
here.
everyone else
Yeah.
received the email as well, so.
Okay. Yes, trustee.
I'd just like to say if they get a hold of him, I would have no problem him doing an online interview if he can't drive in tonight.
Sure.
Um,
Maybe can Kearney contact him right now?
Yeah, she can try again.
Kearney, can you contact him right, please? Okay. We will try to contact him right now.
Contacting him right now. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. All right. I guess we will wait at this point, or we can continue maybe with the budget. I think we can do that. I mean, we can make an amendment and continue with the budget presentation, and then hopefully by then, okay?
Depends on you, how, do you wanna recess and give him a few minutes? And he won't have a link, he's gonna need a link to be able to
Okay.
get in. None of this was prearranged, so
I know.
it's gonna take some time to, or
Let's-
he can come here, I don't know
Go
how.
to the website and click on
I
the link.
sent him the link.
Okay, let's do a recess for 5 minutes, so, okay? We can, okay?
Make a motion to recess for 5 minutes, it's 7:32.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
make a motion to resume the special meeting at 7:39.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are back. We contact Terry Wigney, currently the deputy clerk, called his cell phone. He didn't answer. We leave a message. We have the clerk office send some emails to him. We contact all the candidates. And as you see, many of the candidates show up today. That show that we did the appropriate thing. So we're gonna be moving forward with the process today. I mean, we try. I mean, if at this point, if Mr. Wigney show up at this point on Teams, that should be fine, but, so, it's not happening, so we're moving forward. Anyone else that would like to address to the board from the public? All right. Anyone online? All right, then we're gonna start with the motions. I will make a motion for, Billy.
Do we have any discussion
Oh,
amongst
sure,
the board?
sure. Okay, let's, I mean, I'm asking for if we have any, okay? Anyone from the board would like to?
I'll make a comment.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I just make a
Yeah.
comment. I'm glad the people that came out tonight,
Mhm.
you know, I really appreciate that. I think we got multiple good choices to pick from. And I think it's, you know, probably a better showing than we've had. And we've had 2 or 3 of these now in the last couple of years, so thank you for all the people that did come out and volunteer their time, so.
Anyone else?
I mirror the same comments. I do wish that some of the people who come regularly, who have advocated for change and things, would have stepped up. Some of those people that were here, because I know we know a little more about them because they've spoke more often and taken a stand on some of the more controversial things that have happened. But I think that having this many applicants is a sign that is another sign that people want some change, and they want to, and it keeps coming up, the developments, the preservation, and that we can do better. So I commend the people that have stepped up, if that in fact is their motivation to help us make some corrections, or let's call it improvements to what's been happening, because that seems to be the biggest concern of the residents. Meeting after meeting, it's development, it's traffic, it's safety. I don't think there's been enough done to change course on that. I also don't believe the master plan provides the type of protection that everyone claims it does, because you can see what we do follow the master plan, and everything that's happened in the township has been compliant to the master plan. So if you think the master plan is the saving grace, you can look around the township and make your own decision on whether or not that document is enough to provide what we want it to provide, you know? So I commend all of you for getting involved. I did it. It's a process. It's an awkward process. It's gonna even get more awkward in a minute, but it's great that, you know, when people have had enough, they get off the couch and step up, and I appreciate it.
Any other board members? Okay, Carrie?
I wanted to comment too. I wanted to thank everyone that came out, and I don't want to discourage those, if a decision is made tonight, from stopping here. We have an election next year. We have many positions that will be available, and I encourage each and every one of you, and even your relatives and some of the family that have come to support, to consider stepping up also to serve. And if being on the township board is not something that's interesting to you, we have many boards and commissions that we oftentimes have vacancies for. We do post those on the website, and I encourage you to get involved that way, and not to be discouraged if you were not chosen, but that this isn't the end all is, I think, what I want to say. But I do appreciate everyone that's come out. I've been in your position before. I was appointed, and it is sometimes difficult to put yourself out there, but I do commend all of you, and I thank all the family members and the friends and the neighbors that have come out and spoken in support of you, that have put yourself forward as well. So that's all I have.
Just for a second.
We are already in the Yeah,
well.
the public already, we give 5 minutes everybody, 3 minutes. Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
was just wondering if my.
I mean,
So we need to continue.
yeah, we need to continue with what we, okay. Any other board members would like to? Well, I want to thank all the candidates as well. I think everybody did great. It's kind of unfortunate, it's just one spot, but I believe, like Claire Newbeck and Trustee Morocco, I mean, the involvement is important for us. And we have many other opportunities. We have, I mean, if you guys would like to apply, you can come to the clerk office and apply for so many other positions. We have many positions that still we need to fill, so. All right, I guess at this point, I guess, anyone else? No, we're ready? Okay. I would like to make a motion for Belinda Billings.
I'll support.
Okay, let's support Trustee Morocco. It's gonna be a roll call.
Clerk
Okay.
Newbeck, no.
Okay.
Treasurer Brown?
No?
Okay,
Trustee Morocco?
Yes.
Trustee Nalmothu?
No.
Trustee Ritchie?
No.
okay,
And Supervisor Aliaga?
yes.
Motion failed.
All right, I would like to make a motion for Mark Peterson.
Support?
Okay,
Hold on 1 second.
sure. Okay,
Treasurer Brown?
No?
Trustee Morocco?
Yes.
Trustee Nalmothu?
No.
Trustee Ritchie?
No.
Supervisor Aliaga?
yes.
Clerk Newbeck, no.
I would like to make a motion for Bruce Quigley.
Support?
Okay,
Sorry, got it.
Mhm.
I wasn't ready for all of
Sure,
these roll
sure, no,
calls.
no.
1 second.
sure.
Trustee Morocco?
Yes.
Trustee Nalmothu?
No.
Trustee Ritchie?
No.
Supervisor Aliaga?
Yes.
Clerk Newbeck, no. And Treasurer Brown?
No. I'd like to
Okay.
make a motion for Pat Kittle.
Junior? I'll support.
Oh, I thought you wanted him to reiterate junior.
Oh.
That's what I was waiting.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
Junior.
Okay.
Apologize, getting caught up here again. Trustee Nalmothu?
Yes.
Trustee Ritchie?
Yes.
Supervisor Aliaga?
No,
Clerk Newbeck, no. And Treasurer Brown?
Yes?
And Trustee Morocco?
No.
I make a motion for Jim Tadder.
I'll support.
Okay,
Slow down. Supervisor Aliaga. Trustee Ritchie?
Yes.
Supervisor Aliaga?
yes.
Clerk Newbeck, yes. Treasurer Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Morocco?
Yes.
And who did I skip?
Me.
Terry.
Sorry.
That's okay, yes.
Okay, motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, congratulations, Trustee Jim Tadder. All right, and thank you everyone to attend, and thanks for involving and care about the township. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take a recess now, all right?
Yeah, if you'd like,
What?
I could
Another
get the
recess?
outlook if you
She's gonna go
recess,
Well,
and he can come
well,
and sit if
yeah,
he wants.
fine.
Oh, we can say it.
Yeah, let's
I
do
can
this.
swear
Yeah,
in.
swear him in,
I
yeah.
can go get
And,
the
yeah,
bill.
so he can come here, okay?
If he wants.
Yeah. Jim, stay for a second.
Wait, one second.
We're gonna take a recess again, please. Okay?
I'd like to make a motion to recess at 7:48 PM.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I also think it's important that we amend the motion if the motioner and the seconder would agree to add with the term scheduled to expire on November 20th, 2024 at 12 noon.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Take care, you would like to?
You're fine with that? I'd like to go ahead and swear him in, and he can come
Yeah.
join us if he wishes.
Yeah.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and I'll faithfully discharge the duties
and I'll faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of
Township Trustee
and in for the Township of Independence,
and for the Township of Independence,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you so much.
Either one will be fine. All I have is purpose.
Okay.
We'll just sign right there, and we'll just put your name beneath it, and we're all set. Right under the. Yep.
Little light reading.
Just for that day.
Not too bad. A lot of good information in there.
Yes, there is.
Okay, we're all set.
Awesome.
Would you like to have a seat down there in there? And
Perfect.
join us?
Let's see if the name tag is still in there. I'll see. In there somewhere.
I needs an updated picture by now. Aged a little bit, maybe.
Okay,
It will.
all right, moving on, we have a budget session with our director, with Rich Jagger.
Good evening, everyone. I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible, but this is involving the general fund, so it's the biggest fund that we have, and there are some important things in here that everyone needs to, I guess, pay attention to. So we're going to start with the general fund CIP narrative. Basically what we have here, a 10-year CIP plan. It's covering the fiscal year of 24 through fiscal 33. The CIP schedule only contains items over a per unit cost of $5,000. Items between $500 and $5,000 will show up on the normal operating statements under small equipment, and all items under $500 will show up under supplies. So to start out, the CIP plan calls for future spending over the next 10 years totaling $2,428,000, of which $962,690 is planned for 2024. A breakdown by department is as follows. Parks, Recreation, and Seniors, $775,500, nothing for street lighting, and Town Hall has $187,190 planned. Put a note out here. The normal general fund annual contribution is currently $200,000, but due to additional PRS projects that have come up, offset by excessive Walden Road funding added to this fund over the last couple of years, we can reduce the additional contributions that were projected last year for 24 through 26. We can reduce 24 and 25 by $300, down to $300,000 from the $450 that we had planned and proposed, and 26 can be reduced to $200,000 or the normal contribution. The years 27 through 32 will continue at the normal $200,000. With the additional contributions, the general CIP fund will be funded through 2033 with an ending fund balance of about $1.2 million. So to break it down a little bit further, there are individual schedules that support all of these numbers, but just to get a little bit more detail, in 2024 for Town Hall, there's $187,190 as mentioned, and that's to replace carpeting here at Town Hall for $35,000, Town Hall painting both upstairs and downstairs for $30,000, furnace upgrades for $50,000, and then we have our first of 3 tri-party payments for the Walden Road paving project, and that was $72,190. Street lighting, as mentioned, there's nothing. On the Parks and Rec side, they have a number of different things. They want to add a log slide to the playground. They still have the Bay Court garage renovations out there for $69,500, plus there's an additional $150,000 of ARPA funds for that. They want to work on the Clintonwood ball field backstops and fences for $200,000. Clintonwood volleyball and Bay Court beach sand, $20,000. Clintonwood Park tennis and basketball court resurfacing, $40,000. Bay Court entrance, the brick paver removal and replace, $50,000. Bay Court cabin / camp office repairs, $100,000. Clintonwood wetland drain bridge, $10,000. Clintonwood Park office roof, $10,000. Clintonwood Park day camp building renovations, $30,000. Clintonwood Park planning and development of athletic fields on new property, $18,000. New signage at all 3 parks related to a new township logo, $30,000. They have a cat skid steer loader for $80,000. Then we have some mowers out here, 2 72-inch deck zero turns for $40,000, 1 walk behind for $13,000, and a new Gator utility vehicle for $25,000. Going into 2025, Town Hall, we're just looking at the second of 3 payments for the Walden Road paving project using tri-party funds. Again, nothing for street lighting. Parks and Rec is looking for $478,000, and that's for the Clintonwood Walking Trail concrete sidewalk, $250,000. There's a Toro Field Pro 60/40 infield groomer and rake for $40,000. Clintonwood Park planning and development of athletic fields on new property, again $150,000 there. Sashaball Plains garage roof and building repairs, $15,000. An emergency call tower at Bay Court Beach for $10,000, and 1 mower, a walk-behind mower for $13,000. In 2026, Walden Road, this will be our third of 3 payments for the Walden Road paving project, again another $72,000. Nothing for street lighting, and another $408,000 for Parks and Rec. And that includes the Clintonwood Park Senior Center roof at $30,000, Bay Court Lakeview building structural repairs for $100,000, Bay Court accessible ramp staining, $15,000, Clintonwood Park planning and development of athletic fields on new property, another $150,000, development of McCord Park, $18,000, Deer Lake Beach ramp replacement and dock, $70,000, and a new Gator utility vehicle for $25,000. That basically rounds up at the 3 years. The next schedule here on page 3, this is actually the general fund summary, and you can see all of these projects have been put in the top part of the schedule, and at the bottom part it basically shows all of the basically revenues that come in to support these things, along with the purchases coming out, and then you can track the fund balances going across the bottom, and again you wind up with $1.2 million at the end of 2033. The next few pages, pages 4, actually just page 4, is the actual operating statement for the general CIP if you wanted to look at those numbers as well. But everything that we just went through is incorporated into that statement. Pages 5, 6, and 7 are the actual CIP pages that, again, support the numbers that we just went through. Are there any questions on that first section?
Any questions, board members? No?
Just for clarification, the
Yes, sir.
Walden paving, is that Clintonwood to Maybe Road, the direction of that?
It's
not
Clinton, no,
Maybe,
it's actually Clintonwood all the way out to the township border.
Clintonville to the township line. Just,
Yep, that's the paving project,
okay,
yes.
just want to make sure that was the one.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
really got a real good break there by using tri-party funds, because we had $1.2 million set aside for this, and we're only using several $100,000. So we actually got a pretty good deal on that.
Okay,
Okay.
and we needed that access through there too, so
Absolutely.
that's great.
Absolutely. Yes. Moving on to the cemetery CIP narrative. Not very much going on here, but again, we have a 10-year plan. We're looking at only $101,000 to be spent over the next 10 years, of which $25,000 is planned in 2024, and that's for a Kubota utility vehicle. There's really not much more going on in the cemetery. It's in pretty decent shape. But again, the next page here just shows the actual 10-year schedule. Any questions on the cemetery?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Might be interesting, and maybe this is something for Dave, to give us some kind of a projection or an idea of when he foresees that we may be sold out, And I know the cemetery doesn't really bring in much revenue, but, you know, where we're
I
at.
know the last I heard, I know the lots themselves, the plots themselves are almost gone. And from what I understand, we're about halfway through the
Columbarium?
the columbarium. Yeah. Yeah. That's the last I heard. He could probably give you a better update, but that's what I've been kind of told.
And I think there's more columbariums planned to be built in 2028, right?
It's
I think
very
that's what's
possible,
on-
yes.
Yes.
It
Some
again,
budget.
just depends on how quickly we get through the first one, because once we get probably 3/4 of the way through, we're probably gonna wanna start thinking about ordering another one. So, okay?
That would give it some more revenue once they have more columbariums,
Yeah.
or
Thank you.
capabilities more revenue.
Okay, now that brings us to the first little change I made here. Everyone is used to seeing, that was this little insert that I put in there. Included also in the packet is the normal narratives that I've always prepared. This one here that I'm going to actually go through tonight kind of condenses these 9 or 10 pages into the 3 that I have here. And I think this has the pertinent information on it. Kind of want to run through it, see how you guys think about it, and see if it presents better and is easier to digest, as opposed to me reading 9 pages of very boring information. So, to start out, we're going to go into the Parks and Rec, and it's going to start out with the recreation. So revenues are projected to increase about $11,600, or 1.4%. So where are the increases coming from? We got the rec guide due to price increases. We have recreation classes due to an increased number of classes offered and price increases. And then other increases of $1,800. There's really just one decrease of about $696. And that rounds out the revenue side. Labor and benefits projected to increase $10,167, or 1%. So the increases, we have full-time wages up $22,571, or 5.7%. The bulk of that is the normal annual 4% wage / step increases, because there are people still working their way through the union wage step program. That accounts for $19,000. We had an additional for vacation payouts and additional for the year-end accrual. Other increases include wages for part-time spray park, about $4,700. Wages for part-time Deer Lake Beach lifeguard, $13,000, or 26%. And there are 8 other increases for about $8,600. On the decrease side, we have wages for part-time youth baseball coming down $3,000. Part-time therapeutic recreation, $3,080. Part-time recreation admin coming down $11,200. Part-time swimming classes coming down $6,000. Health insurance premiums coming down $10,500, or 14%. And there are 6 other decreases for about $5,300. Moving on to operating capital costs, they're projected to increase about $26,338. Yes, sir.
Just one thing on the decrease, I guess, we didn't reduce people's wages. I think it's just less labor that we're using. That'd be correct?
Yes, it is.
Most likely?
Yeah,
So
yes.
I don't think we lowered people's wages to save.
No, it's not that. It's just, we're just not using these categories. It's less labor that's needed.
Right.
Basically
Okay.
what's going on here, yes. Let's see here. On the increase side for operating capital costs, postage is up $3,000 due to postage increases. Operating supplies, soccer, up $3,000 or 30.9% due to jersey cost increases. Contractual services, rec classes, up $3,720 or 10.6% due to increases to class costs and instructors. Contractual services, summer camps, up $5,000 or 11.1% due to increases in camp transportation and field trip costs. Contractual services, rec admin, up $18,218 or 53.7% due to the purchase of new registration software. And then refunds, rec miscellaneous, up $10,000 or 200%, and that's due to an increase in the Brady Lodge rentals and how we've basically changed how we process security deposit refunds.
Sure.
There are 7 other increases for about $5,300. Yes, sir.
If I could just make a quick comment, we're just talking about this new software that was bought. I just thought I'd make the board aware that the current model for Parks and Rec, people paying with credit cards, the fees, we pay the fees. And because of that, our fees last year were something like $70,000 in credit card fees. And, and I've been speaking with, actually your department. We talked about it earlier today, that the surrounding communities, they charge, residents who use a credit card to pay the fee. Waterford does it, like Orion does it, and so it is something that's being talked about between the Parks Department and the Finance and Treasurer's Office. And because I think 90-some% of the people are paying by credit card, because why wouldn't you if you get points and no fee? So there may be a change coming to that. We already do that for all utility bills, all the taxes that are paid, anything that's used at the treasurer's counter to pay for anything really, they pay the credit card fee. So I just want to throw that in there. It may come up. I don't know if it comes to the board or not, but I wanted you aware of it in case it comes up in conversations with residents.
Is there any way for us to take like Venmo or any of that type of stuff if people want to pay, like electronically transfer cash?
The Venmo is already set up. I mean, Venmo we could do, except we don't have a Venmo account. And there is some complexity to that and some concerns about how it would work, but we're looking at all the options.
I'm just saying, if we come up with another option that allows them to electronically transfer money, but at a little lower no cost.
Yeah, one of the changes that's happening for the Parks Department, the new software they're using allows for payments via ACH with banking information, which didn't exist before.
Okay, that's
So
what I was getting at.
Timing of this is great. We think it'll be seamless. We're just in the beginning talks with the Parks Department about it, and so I'm sure it'll
We did it with the property tax.
Yes.
Thing, that's what I was getting at, we come up with something similar to that where it's a minimal fee compared to.
I think that's what they brought. Yep, their new
All right.
programming.
Very good.
Thank you, sorry.
Okay, no, not a problem. The last thing under increases, there are 7 other increases for about $5,300. Moving into the decrease side, contractual services, youth baseball, down $3,000 or 42.9% due to decrease in field rentals from Clarkson Community Schools. Small equipment down $11,550 or 68.5% due to replacing 9 computers in 23 versus 2 in 24. And there were 12 other decreases, all less than the $3,000 that are decreasing about $7,500. Any questions on recreation?
Rick, I just wanted to comment, if you can take your paper off the mic, thanks, because it makes noise for those at home.
Yes, I see that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll move on to the parks narrative. From a summary standpoint, revenues are decreasing $747,000 or 82.1%. Labor and benefits are decreasing $1,932 or 0.3%. And operating capital costs are decreasing $773,562 or 71.7%. Basically, and when compared to 23, and parks budget overall is decreasing $28,087 or 3.5%. So getting into the details, on the revenue side, decreasing to $747,407 or 82.1%. There are a couple of minor increases. Bay Court rentals up $16,000 or 32%, and that's due to the increased Brady Lodge rentals. There were 2 other increases amounting to $4,800. On the decrease side, this is the other federal grants. This is our ARPA funds. Again, ARPA funds are things that are currently being spent, and we do not re-budget for them because we don't know where we're going to wind up for the end of this year. So we wait until the numbers settle down, which is probably sometime late February, March, and we can then make a determination how much has been spent this year, and then anything that's left over, we will make a budget amendment and pull it forward so that the projects could be continued or finished. Okay? Moving on to labor and benefits, are projected to decrease $1,932 or 0.3%. On the increase side, we have full-time wages up $13,023 or 4.9%. And that's broken down again to the bulk of it is the normal annual 4% wage / step increases of $15,009. We had additional for vacation payouts of $200 and additional for year-end accrual for another $1,950. Wages, part-time Clintonwood General, up $5,200 or 7% due to wage increases and planning a full workforce. Wages, part-time Sashwell Plains, up $11,200 or 47.1%, again due to wage increases and planning a full workforce. And there were 4 other increases totaling about $4,000. On the decrease side, wages part-time Bay Court General, down $4,700 or 6.9%. That's due to budgeting too high of an hourly rate in 2023. Health insurance premiums decreasing $14,561 or 17.3% due to staffing changes. Retiree health care, OPEB, down $11,000, almost $500 or 89.4%. That's due to one retiree changing plans from a PPO to a Medicare plan. And there were four other decreases totaling about $4,600. On the operating/capital cost side, they're projected to decrease again $773,562 or 71.7%. A couple of minor increases: contractual services, park admin up $7,400 or 69.8%. That's due to reallocating funds in 2023 for more critical projects. So this increase basically brings that budget back to the original amount requested. There were 7 other increases for about $4,800. On the decrease side, building and grounds maintenance down $6,500 or 22.7%. That's due to well repairs in 2023 that won't recur in 24, or at least we hope they won't recur in 24. Small equipment down $3,300 or 100%, and that's due to replacing 2 computers in 2023 and nothing in 2024. Equipment greater than $5,000. Again, this is your ARPA line item again, coming down $768,207 or 100%. And again, it's the same explanation. Once we understand what's been spent this year, we'll pull the balance of it forward so everything can be finished up. And then there were 8 other decreases totaling about $7,800. Are there any questions on the parks side of Parks, Rec, and Seniors? Moving on to the senior side, in summary, revenues are decreasing about $65,000 or 10.3%. Labor and benefits are increasing $41,000 or 7%. Operating/capital costs are decreasing $50,000 or 9.6%. And their overall is increasing about $56,000 or 12.1%. Moving into the details, revenues projected to decrease $65,000. The increases here are senior rentals, fees for senior rentals up $8,200 or 41.1%. That's due to security deposit processing and increase in rental prices. Fees for senior athletics up $3,000 or 15.8% due to increase in pickleball and adding pickleball lessons. Fees for senior special activities up $4,000 or 18% due to an increase in sponsorship dollars. There's one other increase on the revenue side for $2,200. In the decreases, we have fees senior travel, $76,000 decrease or 22.4%. That was due to higher than anticipated extended travel in 2023. That was an unexpected increase. It was the first time that this has happened to them, and I think it's since COVID. Things are just kind of heating up, and I think a lot of people are getting trips out of the way. So they've been hesitant to bump the number up again in 2024 because they don't know if that was just an anomaly or is that something that's going to be going forward. So it's possible that, and once we get into 2024, we may have to come back to the board and increase that number again, but they just weren't comfortable with just 1 year behind them keeping that number high and then missing the goal. So that's why that is coming down the $76,000. Fees for senior transportation coming down $5,000 or 12.5%. That's due to eliminating bucks for buses fundraising due to the Oakland County Transportation millage. And there were 2 other decreases totaling about $1,900. Labor and benefits are projected to decrease about $41,000 or 7%. Increases there, again, wages full-time, $16,773 or 5.9%. Again, the bulk of that is the normal 4% wage/TEP increases of $14,000. We had additional for the vacation payout and additional for the year-end accrual. Wages part-time senior services up about $5,700 or 30.3% due to wage increase and more hours worked. Wages part-time senior travel up $6,500 or 29.2% due to wage increase and additional participation on trips. Wages part-time senior transportation up $7,000 or 9% due to wage increase for drivers and taking on more routes. And there were 6 other increases for about $6,500. Decreases, there's really nothing there besides some smaller decreases totaling about $1,400. On the operating capital cost side, we're projected to decrease about $50,540 or 9.6%. On the increase side, we have small equipment increasing $8690 or 445%. That's due to replacing 1 computer in 23 versus 4 in 24. Then there were 12 other small increases totaling about $13,000. On the decrease side, travel senior day trips down $63,000 or the 21%. Again, that's due to the higher than anticipated extended travel in 2023. And there were 10 other decreases, all less than the $3,000, that total about $9,900. And that concludes Parks and Rec. The pages 17 through 24 is the actual operating statement for Parks and Rec and the Recreation, Parks and Seniors, so you can see the whole picture put together there if you prefer to look through that. Are there any questions on Parks and Rec? Being none, again, we come to the second new condensed version of the condensed, I guess you could say, for the general fund. And again, this took it from about 9 pages that I would have to read through to about 4. So it does bring it down quite a bit, but I do want to read through the actual summary first, and then we can get into the actual details of the new sheets. So to begin with, the 24 revenues are increasing $247,622 or 2.8%. That's moving it from $8,810,000 to $9,058,000. The 24 labor and benefits are increasing $137,790 or 4.3%. And that's moving it from about $3.2 million up to about $3.3 million. Operating capital costs are decreasing $1,415,000 or 19.6%, which takes the number from $7.212 million down to $5,796,000. And so that gives us a net planned deficit or decreased fund balance of $83,796, which is $1,005,000 or 94.8% better than the 23 amended budget. Okay. So moving on, I guess there are a couple of assumptions out here. Again, you guys have heard all of these assumptions as far as wage increases, hospitalization, life insurance. Those have all been very consistent throughout the other presentations that have already been done. But there are a few things on here that have not been mentioned. The number of elections budgeted, 4 in 24, 1 in 25, and 3 in 26. We're continuing to fight against Phragmites. Continue funding gravel projects due to continued erosion of gravel roads around the township. Continue to fund the township newsletter. Continue funding the capital improvement plan at $200,000 per year through 33. And then we have additional contributions to capital improvement plan to fund Parks and Rec and township needed projects, $100,000 in 24 and 25. So moving into the new document here, revenues projected to increase $247,622 or 2.8%. So where are the increases? Property tax increases amount to $140,000. State revenue sharing increases about $100,000 there. Interest income and market value adjustments increasing about $150,000. Transfer from CIA increases $215,000, and there is other increases totaling about almost $34,000. On the decrease side, we have permits for building, electric, heating, and plumbing decreasing about $40,000. Other federal grants, and then this is again your ARPA, decreasing about $255,000. Donations, Pine Knob, that had to do with the graveling of Pine Knob Road here this past summer, $60,000 that won't recur. And then there were other decreases totaling about $37,000. And that rounds out your revenue section. Moving on to labor and benefits are projected to increase $137,790 or 4.3%. We're going to kind of run down these real quickly here, but increases by department. The township board is up about $3,500 or 9.5%. The supervisor up $36,008 or 12.2%. And that has to do, again, with the normal 4% wage increases, and then we have a new position there, the public relations position, that we budgeted in '23, but only a partial year, so that's basically annualized now for the whole year, causing the increase. The treasurer, up $12,000 or 5.2. Again, the normal 4% wage increase, but there was one promotion and a step increase with one of his employees. Assessing, up $34,584 or 7.7%. Again, the normal annual 4% wage increase. They have a promotion for one employee going from appraiser 3 to senior appraiser. Then the annualized assistant director wage bump in 2023. Elections up $120,118 or 238.5%. Again, the normal wage increase of 4%, but 75% of the admin department aides' wages shifted from the clerk's department to the elections department. And it's due to because we have 4 elections planned in '24 versus only 1 in '23. So that one person shifts every other year between clerk and elections as far as the 75-25 split. Okay. Town Hall, increasing $11,190 or 100%. Again, there was a 4% wage and step increase in there, but this has to do with the new custodial position that we basically hired this year, and that position is actually split between Town Hall, the police department, and DPW. Okay. Human resources up $6,800 or 5.6%. Again, the normal 4% wage increase, and then there was also a wage increase of 7.5% for the part-time employee. Cemetery up $7,600 or 11.6%. Again, the 4% wage increase. And temporary wage increase to $17.50 per hour from $15 per hour. Planning zoning up $9,800 or 5.2%. Again, the normal wage increase and step increases involved there. On the benefit side, we're up about $11,000 just on the increase side, and that has to do with additional for pension and HCSP. Due to the wage increases, additional for dental, vision, life, short and long-term disability, about $2,100 there, and additional for retiree health care, OPEB, $2,700 there. Moving into decreases on the labor clerk's department, coming down $39,000, almost $40,000 or 7.7%. There are 4% wage increases built into that. The elected position had an increase of 2%. We had decreased wages for retirement payoff in '23 compared to nothing in '24. And then 75% of the admin department aides' wages shifted to elections compared to 25% in '23. Information technology down almost $21,000 or 17.6%. There was a normal 4% wage increase in there, but the big decrease comes from paying the current manager less than what the prior manager was making. That's where the big decrease comes from. Building is down $20,831 or 6%. Again, there were 4% wage increases in there. They added a part-time general inspector wage. They promoted one employee to office assistant, and the big downturn on that is they eliminated the full-time building inspector wages. So that caused a decrease there. On the benefit side, decreases. We have decrease for unemployment, $2,900, decrease for health insurance, $30,000, and a decrease for workers' compensation, about $1,200. Moving into operating capital costs, they are projected to decrease $1.4 million or 19.6%. Again, we're going to run down through these by department. Increases by department, we had the supervisor increasing $3,072 or 11.6%. Excuse me. We had additional money put in for MTA classes and conferences for the supervisor and deputy supervisors. That amounted to $2,500. We have an additional amount put in for the public relations conference, $3,500. We did have a decrease for the IT recruitment that we budgeted in '23 that won't recur in '24. That was $8,750. And there was an additional for all other accounts, about $5,800. Board of Review, really nothing much to talk about there, but it did increase $50 or 4.4%. The Treasurer's Department increased $4,965 or 8.9%. It was just a bunch of little increases. Elections, increasing $156,435 or 134.8%. Basically, again, we have everything related to elections in 2024, postage, election supplies, contractual services, election workers, and printing and publishing, all increasing due to 4 elections in 24 versus 1 in 23. That amounts to about $181,000. We did have a big decrease here from 16 replacement laptops in 23 versus none in 24. That was a reduction of $32,000. And then all the other accounts combined that are under $5,000 are adding about $7,300.
I have a question on that one.
Sure.
Does this take into account those extra days that you're gonna have staff working for the longer election period?
It sure does.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks.
Yes, it does. On the legal side, we're looking at a $30,000 increase or 14.3%. The bulk of that, $20,000, is for ordinance prosecutions. They continue to go up and keep getting more costly, and then I threw another $10,000 in for just regular legal. So that's your $30,000 increase. Human resources up $3,000 or 8%. Again, just a bunch of little increases. On the building side, we're up about $8,300 or 5%. We do have additional for legal due to the rental ordinance initiative. He's expected to get approved in 2024. That amounts to $24,000. He has an additional $9,000 for 4 replacement laptops versus 1 in 23. Got additional for outside inspection services, $23,000. He's got a decrease due to eliminating the need for services related to the expired permit project. That was $50,000 reduction. And all other accounts under $5,000, it's an addition of $1,981. The drainage department is flat. Street lighting up about $2,000 or 1.1%. That's just basically due to electrical increases from DTE. Cemetery up $11,190 or 20.5%. The addition there is for a utility vehicle versus a mower in 23. That's an $8,400 increase. And all other accounts under $5,000 are adding about $2,700, almost $2,800. Moving on to decreases by department. Township Board decreasing $356,615 or 31.4%. A lot of little things in here, but we have addition for NRIP due to eliminating $150,000 in 23. If you remember when I did a budget amendment, getting rid of that in 23. We have additional for Thendara 2 repairs, $5,200. There was a decrease due to reduced audit fees, $19,005. We have a decrease due to branding budgeted in 23 that won't recur in 24, $20,000. Decrease due to open space committee, about $4,000. Decrease due to salary and benefits study budgeted in 23 that won't recur in 24. There's about $21,002. Decrease due to Dixie DDA that shifted to a new fund, $33,598. Decrease due to one-time donation for graveling of Pine Knob Road in 23 that won't recur in 24. That was a decrease of $60. Decrease due to land purchased in 23 that is not expected to recur in 24. That was $350,000 decrease. And all other accounts actually amount to a decrease of $3,517. Clerk department down $3,233 or 3.7%. We do have additional in there for the OPEB actuarial study that is done in even years. That added $6,000. And then we had decreases for agenda software budgeted in 23, but not 24. This will be rebudgeted in 2025, and that's about a $10,000 decrease for this particular year. We also had a decrease for document scanning and payroll consulting budgeted in 23. That was basically just eliminated in 24, so that saved us $2,000 there. And all other accounts under $5,000, we're actually adding about $2,700. Information technology down $108,423 or 27.2%. We have a decrease for IT support for server migration, $10,000. We did have an additional cost for ransomware and security awareness training software. That was an additional $4,000. We have a decrease for annual security conference, $12,000. There is an addition for the Highland on-base admin training plus accommodations, $5,000. We have a decrease for scanners and testing equipment, $5,000. Decrease for patching, ticketing, security, and auditing software, budgeted in '23, that won't be needed going forward. That saved us $14,009, almost $15,000. Decrease for servers, switches, and infrastructure related to hardware, or infrastructure related hardware, down $20,000. And we had a decrease for ARPA project, which was the security upgrades at Town Hall. That was completed in 2023. That's a decrease of $55,000. All other accounts under $5,000 actually amounted to a decrease of $407. Assessing, down $2,816, or 2.6%. There was one addition in there because they've got 4 laptop replacements in '24 versus 1 in '23. That added about $5,600, or $5,900, I should say. The big decrease was for legal due to excessive litigation charges in '23 that are not expected to recur in '24. That was a reduction of $10,000. All other accounts amounted to an addition of about almost $1,300. Moving on to Town Hall. Decrease of $244,336, or 59.5%. We have a decrease for open space project, not expected to recur in '24. That saves $33,000. Decrease for janitorial services due to hiring a custodian, saving about $10,000. Decrease for elevator repairs in '23, not expected to recur in '24. That's another $9,800. And decrease for ARPA project. These funds could be reallocated in '24. That's a $200,000 reduction. And all other accounts amount to an addition of about $9,200. Planning and zoning, down $8,428, or 1.5%. Addition for, you have an addition for the planning conference, which includes 2 of the new PC members. They added $5,000 in for that. There's a decrease for the township master plan that will not recur in '24. That was a savings of almost, $13,500, $13,600. And all other accounts under $5,000 amount to an addition of $165. Operating transfers out, decreasing $910,887, or 25.2%. We have an addition for the Parks and Rec, about $50,000 increase there. But the big decreases are coming from the transfer to CIA for the Walden Road, or Walden Center Drive intersection / signal project. We made the second of 2 payments in '23, and that will not recur in '24. So that's a savings of $250,000. Decrease for capital projects due to the Walden Road paving project budgeted in '23. That will not recur in '24, and less needed for actual capital projects. So there's a decrease there of $712,000, and all other accounts under $5,000 adding about $1,000. And that concludes the general fund.
Question.
Yes, sir.
On the, you mentioned the $5,000 for planning. Is that for training?
It's for them to go to a conference, and I guess that would be for training. Yeah.
Who's them?
Brian.
Okay.
Brian said that he needed that, and I guess that was a request by the committee to send these 2 members to that conference.
Rotate planning commission members to the planning conference.
Okay. And then you made a note about a $4,000 decrease in the open space committee.
Well, you guys haven't used anything this year, so we had $5,000 put out there, so I brought it down to $1,000.
And then what happens? Does that $4,000 then roll into next year?
No, it just goes away. Unless you guys need more.
Well,
but you haven't proved anything. You haven't spent anything. You haven't done anything. I have a hard time justifying putting another $5,000 out there.
Well,
and nobody's come to me with any plan or anything, so I just cut it back to $1,000. And
okay, so the reason for that is that until there's something that they need to review or something that nest egg is there. So so that Carlisle can review it and things like that, but things haven't been brought up yet because the committee's just getting started. So how does that funding remain active?
You'll have to come back to the board with your reasons for why you need the extra money.
And not the extra money, the original money.
Well, the original money wasn't spent this year, so it goes away.
Sam,
Okay.
can you get the microphone close to you so people can hear you?
Oh, you don't think they can hear me?
No, but when it gets in the...
Okay.
Secondly, we can always do an amendment, right?
Yes,
We
we
can
can.
do an amendment if you need. I mean, you show your needs, and we can do an amendment later.
So you're gonna have, the open space committee's gonna have to come in and show why they need to have a basic amount of
Just like
money for
anybody else.
review?
Yeah. What is your plan? Yeah.
Yes, what is your
Yeah.
plan?
And then you present your plan and we approve it and we do an amendment. But if you don't have plan, I mean, we cannot say, we're gonna give you 10,000, but you don't have a plan. I mean, you need to present a plan, like everybody else. Claire Newbeck?
I'm good. I was just gonna say, the board had approved that 5,000, I believe, for review by Carlisle's Office of Bylaws and things like that, and that never took place, so.
Well, it hasn't got to that yet, because we haven't had time to review anything yet. You know, there hasn't been an addict, we just started the committee this year, so.
Okay. I mean, if you guys want to make that change, I can still make the change. You guys aren't approving the
Yeah.
budget at this point. This is
Yeah.
just the presentation.
Right.
So if
No,
you
I
want
just
that
think there
number
has to
put
be
back
a-
up to
like,
5,000,
you know,
I'd
that
be happy
was-
to do that, but
Right.
if the board
Well-
approves that, I'm fine with it.
Sure, I mean, but Treasurer Brown?
So, so if the money was budgeted for Carlisle to review the bylaws and for the bylaws to come back to the board for approval, and that hasn't happened, how does the Open Space Committee function right now?
Well,
That's
so
not,
that-
I'm sorry, that's not a question for you, it just has
Okay.
come up at the board level.
I don't know that I don't remember ever asking for the money for Carlisle to review the bylaws.
So I
That
would-
wasn't what the money was for.
I would ask you to review the MAFE of when we created it, because the
Okay.
MAFE specifically identified that $5,000 was being allocated for Dick Carlisle to assist with the preparation of the formation documents, including the bylaws, and that the bylaws will be brought back to the board for approval, along with the nominations for people to be on the committee. Because as that's not happened, I guess there's a question of whether or not the committee even should be functioning right now until the board approves the bylaws. So, I mean, it just came up,
Right.
and we looked
I
at
don't know,
today,
well,
so.
I don't know who dropped the ball on that, where the bylaws have been submitted, so I don't know who didn't get it to Carlisle and do, you know, and get it to that point, I don't know. But the bylaws have already been committed for months and months, they've been completed. So I don't know the steps it takes, but you gotta have money in there to do that, you know?
None of it's been
and-
spent.
And review other things, huh?
I said none of it's been spent. The original 5,000 that's still sitting out there right now.
Well, I think we're trying to figure out who department it's under to authorize the, you know, Dick to do the work too. That's
I
not
believe
even,
it's under the township board, if I'm not mistaken. It was put under contractual services, I believe, but I'd have to double check that.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because we
Right,
gotta
right.
have some money we want Dick to review
And that's fine.
suggestions, you know, so there's gotta be some funding for it, or else
Is
what's
he
the
gonna be able to
point?
do it this year? Because the funds are still there right now.
Well, I think the $1,000 probably would cover what we'll have ready for this year, you know? But
Mhm.
certainly we would expect that we would like to use Dick for other things. The only reason that the money wasn't spent so far, it all would have been spent so far, was that we were fortunate enough that we have a municipal attorney on the board who's been pro bono creating the documents for Dick's review instead of paying Dick to create the documents for him to review. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So the savings have been created by Mr. Fisher doing the initial documentation, and then we have one waiting to go to Dick for review. So that, you know, we could have spent the money, but we tried to, knowing that the mentality of the Open Space Committee was that there was only $5,000 to use with Dick, so everything we could do to not spend that money until we really needed it was why we haven't spent it yet, because we've been fortunate enough to been able to use the resources of the committee to do a lot of the initial
Sure,
legal
makes
work.
sense.
So that's why we kind of been sitting on that nest egg to make sure we didn't run out of the $5,000 prematurely, so taking steps to conserve,
Well,
you know.
there's still 6 weeks left of this year. And you still have
I
5,000.
know, I just don't want to be spending money to spend money. I mean, the idea was that we were trying to spend as very little as possible so that the burden, the 5,000 would be stretched as long as possible. You know what I mean, was the intent of it.
Correct.
That's why it didn't get spent yet.
But you have 6 weeks to spend the money, and I think we need to get the bylaws approved, so if we can get it done,
Well, certainly if the bylaws are one of the steps, someone's got to
Yeah.
get them approved. That's,
yeah,
it's
we
part
will
of the
happy to
process.
approve it, but
I think Treasurer Brown is correct that the MAFE just needs to be reviewed again and see what the stipulations were on it and what the 5,000 was supposed to be for.
I can send you a copy of it.
Okay, well, and if it's gotta
You
be
gotta go-
adjusted and you're
okay.
taking it out of the budget anyway, then it would always a moot point. Cause when we come back to ask for more, it'll be for whatever it is that's needed at that time.
Correct.
You know?
Right.
Correct.
Right, and we can do an amendment.
Yeah,
this
we
year
can do an
if we
amendment at that
need,
point.
But I think the bylaws was important. And yeah, all right. Thank you. Thanks. Anyone else? Any other comments or concerns?
So any comments on the condensed version? Was that easier to tolerate, or was it about the same?
I thought it was easier to
Yeah, it was easier.
get to the point.
Yeah,
Quicker,
'cause there's
you
a
know,
lot of
highlights.
verbiage. I mean, you can still read through the other. If you really want to go to sleep, you can
Yeah.
go and do that, but it gives you a lot more detail. But I just thought this was a quicker, easier way and maybe a little less painful.
Agreed.
I
Thank
like
you.
it.
I
Thank
think
you.
just formatting wise, we just need to kind of, you know, you got your brief page, somehow make it so it links up, okay, this is
Yeah.
decreases number
Like I
two.
said, this was
I
the
can look
first
over here and
time
find
jab
that
at
detail.
it.
I see. Okay.
All of this was put together today.
I understand. I'm just saying, and look at it, that's, you know, to try to find a way to link, you know, this table, so, hey, I know that's this section here, and I can look at that detail there.
Okay, no, that's a good point. I can do that. I can do that.
But I mean, thinking like Sam says, to the point, you hit the highlights, you get to see what increase or decrease, and now, if you wanna know the detail on that one, you can go look it up. So,
Right, right. Okay. Awesome.
Very good.
Very good. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Good job as always, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Your efforts.
Okay. Moving on, board member comments? No? All
I
right.
guess we'd like to mention that market Saturday at Brady Lodge. I forget the
Oh,
name
the
of it
holiday
though.
market?
The holiday
Holiday
market,
market,
yeah.
Yeah,
Always a good time.
And that's gonna be the first time that there's heat in the building for the market. So, as an update, just so I know, so everybody knows that, all of the 5 furnaces and all the everything now is up and operational, at Brady. So, that's a big deal.
okay. All right.
And I'll
Any-
just welcome Jim aboard and,
Thank you.
yeah.
It's very nice.
Welcome back.
Welcome. All right.
You were the obvious choice. We don't have to get a new name tag. If I had a new plate, I'm sure it's in there. We'll find
It
it.
is.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, no. All right. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
Adjourn.
motion.
Support.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.